are officially not OPEC members. Russia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan.
Have you invited Russia to be an OPEC?
I have. Personally, I have.
Are you going to?
See, I mean,
Are you going to visit Russia?
I did name. I visited a few countries. Yes, I'm planning to visit Russia, perhaps in October for the Energy Week. I think in Moscow. That will be.
So will you ask Russia to be a participant?
We'll wait and see. I cannot comment on that right now. It's not because it's Russia or anybody else. Like I said, our cooperation with all these countries is ongoing. Many of these countries, if not all of them, already feel that they are part of OPEC. You cannot imagine, let me tell you, we have interns from many of these non-OPEC countries working in the OPEC Secretariat. As an example, as I said earlier on, the Charter has enabled many of our non-OPEC producing friends countries to work so closely with our member countries in areas that go beyond this agreement, like renewable energy, investment, and so forth. So this is work in progress. We are open, just to conclude this matter.
Do you have certain criteria you're looking for new members?
There are criteria in OPEC statute for members to the countries. They have to be an exporter, substantial, they have to have similar goals as OPEC. This is all mentioned very clearly in our statute. So, and I think many countries that I just named actually fit this profile again. So, work in progress. I think the best thing is once there is anything clear, I will not hide it from the press. I'm telling you very bluntly and very clearly, I am going to be very open with the press, with all of you, and I really want to thank all of you for coming to the seminar. Many of you are our media partners, and we really appreciate the partnership you have signed up with us for the seminar. So I will be very transparent. My colleagues, I will instruct them to be very transparent. If there's anything actually, going to develop, if we're going to invite any country to become a formal member, we will not hide it. Why should we hide it?
But what about OPEC Act in the US? Maybe some countries are afraid of to be under this potential.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, when we talk to those countries, if they do mention that, obviously we have to respect their concerns. But right now, I told you, I'm not concretely saying that we have spoken to country X, Y, or Z. It's like, if you stop the recording, I'll tell you what it's like. It's like when you're engaged and then you get married. It takes time.
Some people don't understand that.
Have you voted for Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan, they have just appointed a new minister a few months ago, and I have met him once. I think he came in the previous meeting. So I have to go to Kazakhstan. I owe him a visit, and we'll see when I get there what the discussions will be like. But I have not. Iraq is a member.
Going back on record for a second, if I can.
That was still on record. Sorry.
What about dialogue with consumer countries?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you slightly concerned because you currently have a group of countries that is implementing OPEC and non-OPEC policies, and then you have a group of countries that is implementing voluntary production cuts? Is this gesture the result of a lack of unanimity to decide OPEC policy?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. No, I think the unanimity was clearly demonstrated in our meeting less than a month ago on the 4th of June. Is it 4th of June? I think tremendous unanimity when people can sit down and go through an agreement that takes you all the way through with a clear vision into 2025. I think that's a sign of unanimity. If that's not, then I don't know what is.
Well, the fact that you have countries that are having to cut by 1 million barrels per day.
These are sovereign country decisions. They are extra. We appreciate them. They are really well appreciated and are only in further interest of providing more stability to the market. And the approach we have been taking since 2020 when COVID happened is we want to be preemptive, we want to be proactive, and we don't want to wait. And that's why any country that does any preemptive measure, and it's a sovereign decision, that is welcome. It does not in any way insinuate that there is a fragmentation or
Lack of consensus.
Absolutely not.
Has anyone else indicated that they might introduce voluntary cuts?
Today, you mean? No, I haven't heard anything. We have now Saudi Arabia and Russia and Algeria.
And it was is about question about
Dialogue with consumer countries.
Sorry, I
Okay.
did not see you because you're standing behind me. let me just so I can see everybody. Yeah, no, absolutely.
They
This
are
is-
pushing for more production. And,
We have been in touch with China. I've been to China. I met with the administrator of the National Energy Administration. Also, I was in India, and now China and India are the growth engines of oil demand and economic growth in Asia. So we are always pushing for dialogue between producers and consumers, including the EU. Today you saw the EU Commissioner was here. We have a high-level dialogue with the EU. I meet with Her Excellency Kadri Simpson twice a year. He comes to us, we go to them. So OPEC is all about dialogue, and I took it on my shoulders as a part of my mission since I became SG to further increase this collaboration with consumers. This is very important, and this is not.
but they are not satisfied with
Who said they are not
continuous
satisfied?
cut of production.
I think,
USA and,
but when you say they are not satisfied, I want to ask this question, turn this question into a question to you. Who has complained that they have not received enough oil? You tell me.
but maybe
But
they
prices.
don't buy enough oil because the price is too high for them now. Because if that India increase oil from Russia because the lower price, maybe the price is too high for consumers.
Well, I mean, each consumer has a different price level. We do not get involved into what country X sees as a fair price for its imports, country Y sees. We cannot determine that. It's up to the countries to judge. We are not involved, again, in targeting a price, as I've said repeatedly and on numerous occasions. The market is what dictates the price. There's a buyer and there's a seller. Ultimately, there's an agreement between both sides, and that's what sets the price in the market. It's not. I cannot say that this price is high for country X and it may be low for country Y. And anyway, we've been saying there's additional demand. So yes, India has increased its imports from Russia, but also they are still buying baseload volumes from other producers in OPEC, as well as China.
There is different evaluation for a fair price between consumers and producers.
Well, again, you tell me, what is the fair price? I don't know.
And you say about that there is a lack of investments in the world now, and how do you think, what is the price which satisfy all of our producers in the world?
There is no single price.
Like range for
I cannot get into that because if you're an NOC in country X, it could be different than an NOC in country Y, Z. If you're an IOC, it's different from company to company. Country to country is different. So I cannot really say what is a price that sustains investments for everybody around the world. But what I can say is that we definitely need more investments. I've repeatedly said that our forecast, we see an underinvestment, I call it chronic underinvestment, that is going to have significant impact in the future if it is not rectified very soon. So therefore we are not in favor of the calls to end investment in oil or gas. We believe that all sources of energy are going to be acquired in the future, including of course renewables and clean energy. But to say to a system that today is 80% of global energy, if you include coal, if you exclude coal, it's 60% gas and oil. To take that out of the energy balance overnight or even within a decade is not reasonable. We believe that the world is going to grow so significantly, the global economy is going to double in size compared to today. Population growth 1.5, 1.6 billion, and most of that is coming from non-OECD. So I ask everybody a question: how are you going to generate all that energy? Let's not forget something very important, which is we already have 600 million people just without access to electricity only in Africa. Another 2 billion without clean cooking fuels. So if you want to satisfy socio-economic development around the world, economic growth around the world, you need all sources of energy. It's not just renewables, it's not just oil, it's going to need everything. And that's why we think that global energy requirements are going to increase by nearly 25% from now to 2045. It cannot be met by one source of energy. That's why we always say we need to invest, we need to invest, we need to invest. $12.1 trillion from now to 2045 is around 500 billion per year. And the current
is enough to invest?
Again, I don't know. It depends. If you talk to Herman Wang, he may say it's good. If you talk to Reem Shamsuddin, he may say, no, I need a better high.
Different
So ask
prices
them.
for different regions, for example. Do you have any such assessments?
Inshallah.
But there's a lot of discussion this morning about negative sentiment in the market. I mean, is there a sense of frustration that the market hasn't responded better to the cuts?
No, we're very relaxed. We're taking it easy. We know always fundamentals take over. You know, there's
It's
no
a waiting
need,
game.
There's no need to panic. Why should we panic? You know, we're relaxed. We know what we're doing. We are confident in our decisions. We have demonstrated and proven time and time again, even through testament by others, that OPEC decisions have been to the benefit of the market and stability of the market. Again, I want to say something that's really important. When we say benefit of the market, we don't mean for oil producers. It's also for consuming countries. It's also for the global economy. It sustains global economic growth. So, absolutely not. I mean, you know, the market's going through a lot. You know, we had COVID, we had interest rates, we had a lot of geopolitical issues, you know. But we've been around for 63 years in OPEC, and we've been doing this so well over the past
Some
6
reports
decades,
spoke about 80 or 85 as a suitable price for producers.
Some reports, I don't know where that came from. You mean suggesting that prices could go up to those levels?
Suitable for budgets and
Depends again. I mean, if you ask
investing.
each country has a different budget level, you know, and I cannot comment about prices or what each country sees as a fair price. That's another matter. You have to ask the member countries and their governments or their finance ministers, maybe.
If I can analysts of OPEC see the balance on the market now.
Who?
The analysts of OPEC.
Yeah.
Do they see balance of supply and demand on the market now?
Well, I mean, right now we see demand, our latest projection going up by 2.3 million barrels a day this year compared to last year. Non-OPEC supply also going up. We revise these numbers on a monthly basis, so it's hard to say where is the balance. We look at the average of the stocks, OECD inventories, and we compare them to the 5-year averages. But it's an ongoing thing. I mean, you look at the whole component. It's not easy just to say, yes, the market is balanced or it's not balanced. We feel that the market is, I mean, to say balanced is quite, you know, a technical term. How do you measure the balance? What is the exact yardstick? So we have to keep this process ongoing on a regular basis, on a weekly, monthly, daily basis. Actually, my research team you mentioned, you know, I highly commend them for their great efforts. They give a lot of great work to our ministers, and they keep them well informed of what's happening.
But you decided to decrease production when
I decided?
OPEC decided to decrease production, but you expect the increase of demand. It's a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's not strange. It's because there is a surplus in the market that we see in the first half of this year. Everybody knows that there was a big surplus in the market.
It's due to the global recessions.
Due to slowdown in the economy, due to China maybe not opening up as fast as expected by most. You know, everybody back in January, February was so hyped up about China going to. You remember? You know, and now everybody's saying, oh, China is not as opening up and demand is not picking up as fast as expected. So all of these factors. That's why we do a regular reassessment and we look at our numbers on a continuous basis and we revise them.
That means
I have
I'm
to.
just asking about the spare capacity issue, if that's okay. It's because 2 weeks ago we almost had Wagner in Moscow. Today we have Libya having threats to exports.
I'm not going to answer
My
questions
question
about Wagner and
No.
anything else,
My
please.
question is this: how prepared do you think OPEC would be to handle a shock to spare capacity? We have the spare capacity to handle shock to supply.
Well, I mean, part of the decision to reduce production is also good because it gives us more spare capacity. And OPEC has always managed to step up in case of any shock globally. I mean, I don't need to go back